Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I am going to show you how to build a complete Power BI dashboard from scratch using a real-world dataset called the UCI Online Retail dataset. This dataset contains over 500,000 transactions from an online retailer, and we will use it to analyze revenue, customers, and product performance. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to go from raw data to a fully interactive business dashboard. So let's get started. First, let's import the dataset into Power BI. I'll go to Home, then click on Get Data and select Excel or CSV depending on your file format. Now I'll select the dataset and click Load. At this point, Power BI has loaded the raw data, but we are not going to use it directly. We first need to clean and prepare it. So I'll click Transform Data to open Power Query. Now we are inside Power Query and this is where we clean our data. This step is very important because clean data leads to accurate insights. First, I started by removing cancelled orders. Invoices that begin with the letter C represent cancelled transactions. So I filtered them out from the dataset. I selected the invoice number column, changed the data type to whole number, and then removed errors. This automatically eliminated invoice records containing the letter C. I applied the same cleaning process to the stock code column as well. Next, I clean the description column by removing empty and blank values to ensure all products had a valid descriptions. After that, I removed negative quantities from the dataset. Negative quantities usually represent returned or refunded items. Using number filters, I filtered the quantity column to keep only values greater than 0. I also removed blank customer IDs because those records represent anonymous customers and are not useful for customer level analysis. Then I worked on the invoice date column. Instead of replacing the original date time column, I followed a professional approach by keeping the original invoice date column and creating a separate date only column. To do this in Power Query, I selected the invoice date column, then went to add column, date, and then date only. This created a new column called date only. Next, I assigned proper data types. So they are already in the assigned formats, like date is also in the date format and invoice date is also in date and time format. So we can also make the time column from the same method, like you go to add column and click on time and then choose time only. So then you have the time column similar to that of a date column. So always check the data types. Like for invoice date was set to date or time, and for date only was set to date. I also kept the original invoice date column because it can be useful later for advanced analysis such as hourly sales trends, busiest shopping hours, and peak transaction times. I just cleaned the country column as well. So now the data set is clean. So we just click on close and apply. Finally, the dataset is clean. Next, I created a total sales column to calculate the revenue generated from each transaction. To do this in Power Query, I went to Transform Data, Power Query. Then I selected Add Column. In that, click on Custom Column. For the formula, I used quantity multiplied by the unit price. This calculates the total revenue for each order line. I named the new column as total sales. After creating the column, I changed its data type to fixed decimal number, or you can change it for currency. This step is important because financial values should always use proper numeric formatting for accurate calculations and reporting. Once the transformations was completed, I clicked Close and Apply to load the cleaned data back into Power BI. Next, I created a dedicated date table using DAX. A date table is extremely important in Power BI because it enables proper time intelligence calculations like filtering and trend analysis. To create it, I went to the Modeling tab and selected New Table. Then I used a DAX formula to generate a calendar table dynamically based on the minimum and maximum dates available in the dataset. The date table include year, month and year-month columns. These additional fields make it easier to create time-based visualizations and reports. After creating the date table, I moved to the model view to establish relationships. I connected online retail date to date table date. This relationships allows the date table to properly filter and organize the sales data across all reports and dashboards. Finally, I went to the data view, selected the date table, clicked on the date column and ensured the data type was set to date. I also formatted it as a short date for better readability and consistency throughout the report. By completing these steps, I created a strong data model structure that supports accurate reporting, trend analysis, and time intelligence features in Power BI. Now that our data is clean and transformed, the next step is creating important DAX measures. These measures will help us calculate key business KPIs and drive the insights in our dashboard. First, go to the Modeling tab and click on New Measure. Let's start with our most important KPI, that is total revenue. We already created the total sales column in Power Query. So now we simply sum that column using DAX. So here I use total revenue, which is equal to sum of the total sales. This measure calculates the overall revenue generated from all sales transactions. Next, we will create total orders. Total orders equal to distinct count of the invoice number. Here we use distinct count to count unique invoice numbers, which gives us the total number of orders placed. Now let's calculate total customers. Total customers, which is equal to distinct count of the customer ID. This measure counts the number of unique customers in our data set. Next is the total products sold. So which is the sum of the quantity. So this simply adds up all product quantities sold across transactions. Now we'll create a more advanced KPI, that is average order value, which is equal to, like, you divide total revenue by total orders. This measure tells us the average revenue generated per order. We use the divide function because it safely handles division and avoid errors. Finally, let's create revenue per customer. So this is you divide total revenue by the total customers. This KPI helps us understand how much revenue each customer contributes on an average. And that's it. We have now created the core DAX measures that will power the analytics and visualizations in our Power BI dashboard. Now that we have created our core KPI measures, the next step is building time intelligence measures. These calculations help us analyze performance over time and make the dashboard look more professional and insightful. Since we already created the total revenue measure earlier, we can now use it to calculate previous month revenue, where previous month revenue is calculated using a calculate by total revenue with the previous month of the date column, which is from the date table. This measure uses the calculate function together with the previous month to return revenue from the previous month based on our date table. Time intelligence functions like this are very important for trend analysis and business reporting. Next, we'll create the month over month growth percentage, which is also known as MOM growth percentage, which is equal to, like, you divide total revenue minus previous month revenue by previous month revenue. This measure compares the current month revenue with the previous month revenue and calculates the percentage growth. We use divide function again because it safely handles division operations and prevents errors. After creating the measure, make sure to format it as percentage from the modeling tab so the values display correctly in the dashboard. This KPI is extremely useful because it quickly shows whether revenue is increasing or decreasing month over month, helping businesses track growth trends and performance changes over time. And with that, we have successfully created professional time intelligence measures for our Power BI dashboard. Now we are going to build more advanced time intelligence measures that help analyze business performance across longer time periods. These KPIs are commonly used in professional business dashboards and executive reports. First, let's create year-to-date revenue, which is also known as YTD revenue. Go to modeling and click new measure. This measure calculates the cumulative revenue from the beginning of the year up to the current date. The total YTD function automatically handles the year-to-date calculation using the date table. Next, we'll calculate revenue from the same period last year. This measure compares the current period with the exact same period from the previous year. The same period last year function is very useful for year-over-year business analysis and trend comparison. Now let's create one of the most important executive KPIs, that is year-over-year growth percentage. This measure calculates the percentage increase or decrease in revenue compared to the last year. A positive value means the business is growing, while a negative value indicates a decline in performance. After creating the measure, remember to format it as a percentage from the modeling tab for proper visualization. These advanced time intelligence measures are essential because they allow businesses to monitor long-term growth, identify seasonal trends, and evaluate overall company performance over the time. And with that, we have successfully created advanced DAX measures for year-to-date and year-over-year analysis in Power BI. Now that all our important DAX measures are ready, it's time to start building the dashboard pages. A strong Power BI project usually contains around 3 dashboard pages, each designed for a different level of analysis. We will begin with page 1, the Executive Sales Overview. This is the main dashboard page that gives decision makers a quick summary of business performance. First, let's add KPI cards. From the visualization pane, select the card visual. We will create a separate cards for the following KPIs, which is total revenue, total orders, total customers, average order value. These KPI cards provide a quick high-level snapshot of overall business performance. Next, we'll create a revenue trend visualization. For this, select line chart visual. Configure the fields like this, like x-axis, you put a year month from the date table. Y-axis, you put the total revenue. This chart helps us visualize how sales are changing over time and makes it easy to identify growth patterns, seasonal trends, or revenue declines. Now let's analyze which countries generate the most revenue. Select a bar chart visual. Configure the fields. On x-axis, put country, and on values, use total revenue. Then sort the chart in descending order. So the highest revenue generating countries appear at the top. This visualization helps businesses identify their strongest markets. Next, we'll create a chart for the top performing products. Again, select a bar chart visual. Configure the fields with description on axis and total revenue in the values. Now apply a top N filter and set it to show only top 10 products based on the total revenue. This helps highlighting the products contributing the most to sales. By combining KPI cards, trend analysis, and top performing categories, we create a professional executive dashboard that delivers powerful business insights at a glance. Now let's build page 2 of the dashboard, which is customer analysis. This page focuses on customer behavior and helps us understand which customers generate the most value for business. So the top customers, first we'll create a top customers table. Select the table visual. Add these columns like customer ID, total revenue, and total orders. Then sort the table by total revenue in descending order. This allows us to quickly identify the highest value customers. Next, we'll build a very powerful business analysis visual called the revenue distribution. This helps segment customers based on how much revenue they generate. First, go to modeling and click new table. Then paste the following DAX formula. This table creates a summary of each customer along with their total revenue contribution. Now select the customer summary table. Then go to modeling and click new column and paste the following DAX formula. This column categorizes customers into different revenue groups like low, medium, high, VIP. This type of customer segmentation is commonly used in real-world business analytics. Now let's visualize the customer distribution. Select the clustered column chart visual and add the revenue band to the axis and count of customer ID to the values. This chart instantly tells a business story. For example, it can show whether most customers are low value customers or whether a small number of VIP customers generate most of the revenue. This analysis helps answer important business questions such as do a few customers generate most of the revenue, or customers mostly low value or high value, or is the revenue distribution heavily skewed? These are very common and important business analysis questions in retail and e-commerce. Finally, let's analyze where customers are located geographically. Select the map visual. So put country in the location and total customers in the values. This visualization helps identify countries with the largest customer base and provides geographic insights into customer distribution. So I also used the table which would also displays the number of customers. So when you can compare it with the map, the table is much more visualized clearly along with the values. With the customer analysis page, we now have a much deeper understanding of customer behavior, customer value, and the segmentation, and also the geographic customer trends. Now let's build the final dashboard page, product performance. This page focuses on analyzing how products are performing in terms of sales volume and revenue generation. First, we'll create a visualization for the best selling products. From the visualization pane, select the bar chart visual and then add description to the axis and total products sold to the values. This chart shows which products are selling in the highest quantities. It helps businesses identify their most popular products and understand customer purchasing trends. Next, we'll create visualizations for the highest revenue products. Select the tree map visual and then add description to the category or group and total revenue to the values. The tree map helps visualize which products generate the highest revenue contribution. Larger sections in the tree map represents products with greater revenue impact. Together, these visuals help businesses compare product popularity versus profitability. Sometimes the most sold products are not necessarily the highest revenue generating products, and this analysis helps uncover those insights. With this product performance page completed, our Power BI dashboard now provides a complete business analysis covering sales performance, customer behavior, and product insights. Now it's time to make the dashboard interactive by adding slicers. Slicers allow users to dynamically filter the dashboard and explore the data more efficiently. Add slicers for the following fields like year, month and year, and country. These slicers help users quickly filter the dashboard based on time periods or geographic regions. To keep the dashboard clean and professional, change the slicers to drop down style. This saves space and improves the overall user experience. Now we'll make the slicers work across all dashboard pages using the Sync Slicers feature. First, click on the slicer visual you want to sync. Next, go to the top menu and select View and then select Sync Slicers. This opens the Sync Slicers pane on the right side of the screen. In the Sync Slicers pane, you will see a list of all report pages. For each slicer, check Sync for the pages where you want to filter to apply. Check Visible if you want the slicer to appear on that page. If you leave Visible unchecked, the slicer will still filter the page but remain hidden. This is extremely useful because it creates a seamless filtering experience across the entire dashboard. For example, if your user selects a specific year on a page 1, the same filter can automatically apply to customer analysis and product performance pages as well. By using slicers and sync functionality, we make the Power BI dashboard more interactive, user-friendly and professional. Next, we improve the dashboard design. So we use a themes. So go to View and then click on Themes. Choose the liking of your choice. So this is what I chose, and the entire view of the dashboard has been changed. Let's start with Executive Sales Overview dashboard. The business generated approximately $8 million or 8 million pounds in total revenue from more than 18,000 orders placed by over 4,000 customers. The average order value is around 440 pounds, which shows customers usually place medium to high value purchases. Looking at the revenue trend, sales are highly seasonal. The strongest performance was recorded in November 2011, followed by October and September. So months like February and April showed significant low. From geographic analysis, the United Kingdom dominates revenue contribution with more than 6.6 million pounds in sales. Other countries like Netherlands, Ireland, Germany, and France contribute much smaller shares. This indicates strong dependency on the UK market. When analyzing products, a small number of products generate a large portion of total revenue. Products like Papercraft Little Birdie and Cake Stand 3 Tire are among the top performers. Overall, the business shows concentration in three major areas: geography, seasonality, and products. Revenue is heavily dependent on the UK market, with quarterly sales and a few high performing products. Based on these insights, the business should focus on expanding internationally, improving off season sales, and also diversifying the product performance. Now, moving to the customer analysis dashboard, the analysis shows that revenue is strongly concentrated among a small group of high value customers. For example, the top customers generated over £250,000 individually. Interestingly, customer behavior differs significantly. Some customers place a large number of orders frequently, while others generate very high revenue from only a few purchases. This reveals two important customer types: frequent buyers and high value occasional buyers. Looking at customer segmentation, most customers fall into medium and VIP categories, while low value customers represent only a small portion. Even though the customer base looks balanced, revenue still depends heavily on a small number of top customers. Geographically, the customer base is highly concentrated in the United Kingdom. Other countries contribute relatively small customer counts. This creates two major business risks. First, dependency on few high value customers. Second, dependency on a single geographic market. To reduce these risks, the business should strengthen customer retention strategies, improve the loyalty programs, and also expand customer acquisition beyond the UK market. Finally, let's look at the product performance dashboard. The analysis shows that product sales are highly concentrated among few SKUs, like Papercraft Little Birdie is the top selling product by unit sold, followed by products like medium ceramic top storage jar. An important insight here is the mismatch between sales volume and revenue contribution. Some products sell in very high quantities but generate lower revenue, indicating low margin, high volume products. Meanwhile, some lower volume products contribute strong revenue value. The business is highly dependent on a small group of products that consistently dominate both revenue as well as a sales volume. Based on these findings, the business should improve inventory planning, promote mid-performing products, and diversify product contribution across the catalog. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. If you followed along, you know how to build a complete Power BI dashboard from raw data to insights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.